So today we are here with someone else. I invited David Kooijman, who is an aeronautical engineer. He is a professional photographer and accidentally is also my husband. So we partner in this because he is a professional photographer and he's going to talk about light. He's going to talk about photography. Let me just introduce a little bit of what we are going to do today. But yeah, David, you can just say hello.
So hello everybody. I'm David. I'm a photographer. So well, I use a lot of light. Often photographers wish each other a beautiful light. So I hope we have beautiful light this evening. And well, I'm curious how we will discuss about how photography and light relates to coaching. So I'm curious as well, as I hope are you.
Well, thank you. And I want to introduce the topic because I want to share that it has been scientifically proved that light does not exist. There is no light in the universe. The sun and the constellations do not actually shine. They emit electromagnetic waves of various frequencies. The light is reproduced in our brain, thanks to our eyes that transform these frequencies in nerve signals, which materialize the images and indeed the light. I'm not a science person, but I have done some researches, and light or visible light is electromagnetic radiation within the portion of the electromagnetic spectrum that is perceived by the human eye. What this means? It means that what we see, in fact, does not correspond to what it is. We transform. We are the ones who transform everything around us according to what it is true to our true nature, to our nature. And the same goes with the other four senses. The same goes with all our senses. Everything, we can say that everything is captured by us based on who we physically are. So this is part of our status as earthly living beings. Sometimes only sensations help us to go a little further and understand that there is something more, something different than what we can see or touch every day. But we find it hard, despite having all the potential to do that, we find it very hard to see beyond ourselves and our senses. So to cut the long story short, what do we need to do? Why are we here today talking about life? Because we need to see beyond. We need to stop and accept the client for what the client is presenting us, but we need to, let's say, imagine that there is a greatness, a light that awaits to be seen. And we need to embody a coaching mindset. So embody a coaching mindset, it means to see the light of the person. What is the light of this person? Where is the light of my client? Where can I move to capture that light? And what am I willing to do to capture that light and allow the greatness of my client to emerge and to unfold? Welcome, Joyful. I was just talking and I didn't stop, but thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So capturing the light, seeing the light, it means that we have to be intentional about that. we have to be intentional to see the greatness that is beyond our senses. And that's why I invited David to talk about that, because there is a lot to learn about light and a lot to learn about how to capture light from a technical point of view. David.
Okay, so well, I think it's very true. Also with photography, I'll explain it later in a better way. But we go beyond of what we see in the first moment. We don't just immediately take out our camera and take a shot as soon as we arrive at a certain point. We have to let the light talk to us and to make sure we bring out the best light that we can get out of a scene. So well, maybe I can start the presentation. I will.
And it is also interesting, you know, while you are starting to make the things running, David, to ask,
yeah.
What do you know about photography and light? Not you, but to the participants. So what do you know about photography and light? What are the things that you know, not technically, but...
About light in general?
Yes, about photography and light together. I mean, what do you know?
Light is as interesting as shadow, for example, in photography and in life.
It is.
Exactly.
They are very connected.
Yeah.
Can be separated, I mean.
Zonke and Laura also.
Okay, with my own understanding, the light goes hand in hand with photography. The light complements the process of photographing something. So they are like cousins, because one cannot process fully without the other one. So light is giving life to the process of photography. That's my understanding.
Yeah, you're right.
Laura, you also unmute. Did you have?
Yeah. Well, without light, there is no image impressed on film. I mean, with flash or with this, so it's automatic. So without light, I'm not sure there's much.
Yes.
With the old-fashioned cameras, mostly, I was thinking now you can have all the tricks that you want. But I was thinking, like the old cameras without a light, it was quite impossible to have a photo. So.
Yeah.
Yes, and yeah. So David, you can let us jump into some more interesting stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so these are the things we will talk about today, very broadly. What is photography? We'll explore a bit about that. Then, what makes a good photo? Because not every photo is worth keeping. I think tens of thousands of photos on my computer, and well, I would maybe keep 100, but so not every photo is a good photo. And then I would like to talk to you about photography with intent. So not just pressing the shutter button, but well, how you can give intention to your photography. And as we go along the way, there will be plenty of examples, so which makes it a lot easier to explain.
And while you go through this journey, keep in mind your profession, the coaching profession. Keep in mind the photography that you want to have of your client, of the system of your client. Keep in mind what you want to look at in your client and how and why and with which purpose.
Okay, and of course you can always ask any questions you want. You can interrupt me if there's anything not clear or if you have any comments, just feel free.
Or write it in the chat so that I can read it and I can ask David.
Okay, so like Laura already said, without light, there is no photography. Photography literally means writing or drawing with light, which is, it comes from ancient Greek. So photo is light and graph or graphy is writing. So we literally need the light to make a photo. Otherwise it will be just a black picture, and well, so which is not that interesting to look at. So, well, next to this this explanation, I have put this this picture, which I think is all about light. I don't know if anybody recognizes the place, and what do you think it is, and what does it invoke in you, the photo?
Something that is always moving, even if they are rocks. Gives me the feeling of movement.
Yeah. So you're right, there are rocks. This is in Antelope Canyon in Arizona in the United States. It's a slot canyon, so it's like a crack in the rock, like a cave, but it's open in the top. So the light comes in from above, and since it's quite high, it filters down, and below it starts to get dark again. So the blue that you see is from the sky, the light from the sky, and the rocks are red. So, and it creates all these shades of red and orange and blue. But it seems like it's moving. You're right, which comes because of all the curves in the rock. It has been sanded by wind and water for, well, probably thousands of years.
So here, David, it seems like the light does everything, but what have you done to capture these colors and lights and things? I mean, what's the photographer?
Well, you captured this around noon, so around midday when the sun is high in the sky. So it managed to shine down in this canyon, which is a fortune. So you can sleep late for a change. And as you can see, there are also a lot of shadows. It's a play of light and shadows, and with the curves, it gives a lot of movement. And it almost looks like there are curtains or silk draped on the rock, but it's just the rock itself.
So you have to got organized to be there at the right time. Otherwise, just 10 minutes later or half an hour before, it was not there.
Yes, well, it's not that precise, but yes, you can't come if you come at 9. You can't get the same photo.
So intention.
Yes, we
get there at the right time.
We booked the tour because you can't go there by yourself, because it's run by the Navajo Indians. So we booked at 12 the tour, which was good. So.
Okay. Be aware of the time, because we are very tight, and you have to, and there are so many nice things to talk about. So keep going.
Okay, so to make a photo, we need to see with intention. So like I said before, if you arrive at a place where you think you can make a nice photo, don't grab your camera or your phone and start taking photos. Just look around, see what you can find, and have a look at why you think this scene is so beautiful. What caught your eye? What caught your attention? And then you can try, once you know what you think is so beautiful about this scene, how can you enhance this beauty in your photo?
David, isn't that amazing? I mean, what you think is beautiful in your client, how can you enhance what is in your client with your questions and your words and your observation? Take David's words and put them in coaching. They are exactly the same. What is so beautiful about my client? I look around actively with intent to find the greatness and to enhance it with my words and my questions.
So that's why I wrote here, think about your photo before you take it. So you create an intention, you visualize your photo before you take it. So you go in with the intention to see a certain thing and maybe disguise another. Like you see in this photo with the poppy. I loved the intense red of the poppy, but to make the poppy come out better, I set my camera in such a way that most of the background is very much blurred, so the poppy comes out better. Otherwise, if everything would have been sharp, so it's a poppy in a wheat field, all the wheat would have been distracting from the poppy. So you think about how you can enhance the beauty of what you are going to photograph.
Zonke, unmute and talk. Otherwise we probably don't see you.
Okay, I want to bring this controversy conversation. As David is talking about seeing with intent or intention to capture that, that moment or something that is enhancing you. And when you take that to the coaching, when you try to enhance something that will interest you in the client and you don't see anything, what do you do? Because in photography, if you don't find anything there, you can still move around. You will find something that will enhance you, something that you can capture and it will be meaningful to you once you have captured it. But in the case of coaching, and you are with this client and we are trying to find something that we want to capture or something that you want to enhance, and it's like you're sitting with a wood, if I can say it like that. I don't know. Yeah.
Zonke is the mindset.
Anything like that?
Yeah,
is there anything like that?
The mindset needs to change, because first of all, when you go to a place, I mean, when you go to take a picture, you need to be surprised. You need to go with wonder. So you need to wait and maybe wait, and you're going to go to some pictures and David is going to tell you when and how long did he waited for that. Maybe you have to wait all the coaching conversation, but we are not going to enhance something that interests us, but something that the client is bringing that is also without judgment, and that we can enhance with our look, with our intent. The same poppy, if you turn around and if you go the other way where the light is not there, the picture is going to be bad or not nice. David, can you go to show 2 pictures so that we can explain and Zonke what we're telling?
Yes, well, but probably every scene has its beauty, but like Cristina said, sometimes we need to change perspective. So maybe, like Cristina said, we need to walk around things, or maybe you can ask a different question. Or I think there are beautiful things in all people, so there must be a way to bring them out. I'm not a coach, so I can't help you with that. But in photography, sometimes I just come back another day, or I come back in a different hour. So there are different ways to bring out the beauty, or I make a photo in black and white because I don't like the light at that moment, but I like what I see. So I try to bring out the best what is there in that moment.
Okay, let's move. We will probably have to have another call because we're not going to cover everything today. It's a lot of stuff.
Okay, so what makes a great photo? Well, do you have any idea what you think will make a good photo?
I would say maybe the angle at which you're taking from.
Yes, that can be one thing.
You mean the perspective, the angle, yeah.
Yes, the point of view. Anybody else? What? Who?
I've said the story, which probably is similar to the intent. I'm amazed by photos that tell me a story. I don't know if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Laura says the subject. She wrote that in the chat.
Also.
Well, what I do when I take a picture is try to connect with what I'm seeing.
Yes.
That's, and then perspective and light. And I ask myself, when I take a picture, I don't really care about if it is beautiful or not. Yes, I just try to see how can we do together. I don't know how to express this differently.
Okay. Okay, so I have, well, you've all brought parts, I think, of course, subjects change and people also have their own preferences. But of course, it's very important that you take photos of a subject that you like. For me, a great photo is comprised of great light, great composition, which is the point of view, how you, from which angle you take your photo. And if it manages to transmit emotion. I think if those 3 things come together, then you have a really good photo. And of course, emotion is something subjective. So not everybody will feel the same emotion that you might have felt. And well, so, but for me, these three things, if they come together, then you can get a really good photo. So to start with the first, the light is not completely under your control, but we can optimize our chances. You can only control light in a studio, but I usually photograph outdoors. So for me, the light is not under my control. The composition though, so how you arrange the elements in a photo, that is completely under my control. Of course, without moving things, but like this lavender field, I could just stay wherever I can. Even you can even walk in these fields. So, and for me, with this storm cloud, it only lasted for a few seconds, this light. So the light was gone, well, literally within seconds. But for me, it was a great emotion to see this huge storm cloud coming up over the lavender fields.
So sometimes it's a blink.
Yeah.
It takes a very short time to capture and to listen to what the client is offering us. Maybe you know, an expression in the face, maybe just one word, maybe just one little thing, and we can capture that just if we are looking at, if we are intentional about that.
Okay, so let's start with the light. Light has several characteristics that we will use in photography. Well, these are the main characteristics: direction, color, intensity, reflection, and contrast. I will discuss the first two in a bit more detail because I think they are the most important. The intensity, of course, it depends on how strong the light is. The reflection, some surfaces reflect more. And if you think about it, when we see an object, we don't really see the object. We only see the light reflected from the object. So we think we see something, but in reality we don't.
Can you just think of this direction, color, intensity, reflection, and contrast for your client? I mean, the direction is the direction that the client wants to take. The colors of the client. What are the colors of our client? What is the client expressing? How intense is the light of our client? It's a shade, it's a very pale thing, or a very strong light. And how does it reflect on the others? Are there any contrast, any incongruence? Think about that.
Yeah, so contrast is how strong the difference is between dark and light. So if you see the photo on the left, on the foreground, the contrast is high. The darks are darker and the light is lighter. And if you go in the background, it starts to fade. So we have less contrast there. And this effect that's fading in the background creates depth in a photo. So it becomes more three-dimensional. Because of course that's one of the issues of photography, that you're trying to represent something three-dimensional in 2 dimensions. So let's start with the direction of light. As you can see with the two balls, without a shadow, without a directional light, it becomes very flat. So the directional light creates shadows, and that allows us to see the shape of an object. Well, we can use it here on the photo on the right. You can see it with a little bit on the hills, and with the shade from the tree that is being cast on the in the field. So, but again, it's only you can't have shadows without light. So, like Valeria said in the beginning, they are very much connected. So I often prefer to take photos at sunrise or sunset, which gives you very long shadows, and it shows the texture of a landscape.
And if we think about our client, what Zonke was telling before, maybe we are in front of the client who is showing us her or his shadows, and is focused on the shadows and is telling us what she doesn't want, or what he doesn't want, or what he wants to change, or what she's uncomfortable with. But we know, I mean, now we are working with real light in photography. Without shadows, we don't have light, and without light, we don't have shadows, and they are part of each other. So if we are intentional with our client, we can learn how to work on shadows in order to move to the light. And we know they are together. And we know that shadows give shape to life, to an object.
So, well, the direction of the light, of course, depends on where the sun is, but it can also depend on ourselves. You can also turn around, and then the light comes from another direction. As you can see here on the left, it is a photo taken against the light, and if you see the sky, it starts to turn white. While on the other side, if you take the photo up with the light in your back, the colors become more saturated, and you can see the sky is blue again. So, well, sometimes you just need to walk around your subject and take it from the angle which it's not that one is wrong and the other one is good. They are both okay. But if you're looking for a certain effect or a certain shape, or you can approach it from a different angle.
So this means that with our clients, we need to move with our questions from different angles to different perspectives, and it depends on us what kind of light do we want to see, and what kind of light we allow ourselves to see. Valeria, you're writing, so we can say that shadows in client are connected with life direction of the client. No, I didn't say that. I said that when we connect with the shadow of the client, we are not discovering the direction. The direction that I meant before, it was about what the client is willing to have, what the client is willing to get out of the session and out of the coaching program. But from what we were considering before with David about shadow that gives shapes to object, without the shadow, we are not going to have the light. Without the awareness of what the client doesn't want, we're not going to have the awareness of the client about what the client wants. They are together, like we have seen in the webinar about Trust Your Shadow. So also being willing to, on purpose, find the client's light, knowing that it is there, it gives us the opportunity to meet their shadows, but we know that they go together.
Okay, so a little bit on the color of light. We often perceive light as something white, but of course we know that it is not. Light, as we can see with the rainbow, there are all colors in the light, and when they come all together, it turns white. So if you photograph, take a photo at noon on a sunny day, you get something like this lavender field, lavender and wheat field with a tree, and it's well, it all looks a bit flat. You have very short shadows, and all the shadows, they are right below. So, but you get a strong contrast, but it looks flat. The colors are not very nice. Well, if you go there very early in the morning when the sun rises, you see the colors, they are a lot richer, and the shadows really create the three-dimensional part of the photo. You can really see the rows of lavender, and it looks, at least to me, it looks a lot nicer on the left than on the right. Even though it's from a different angle, but it's the same field. So you can really see how the color changes during the day.
So having shadows is fantastic. It's great.
Yes, and but also the color of the light changes. Like with sunrise and sunset, the light is more red or orange, yellow, while during the day it becomes whiter, and during the night it becomes more blue. So this is another photo of Bryce Canyon in the United States, and this was before sunrise. So it was already starting to get light, but there was no direct light yet on the rocks. And just after sunrise, you get this effect, and you can really see the light turning. Well, they call it the golden hour, and it's because the light turns almost golden. And you can see the texture on the rock is becoming stronger. So if you want to show the texture, you need some direct light and some shadows. So, well, now we have discussed a bit about light. Is there anything more you would like to know about light? So, because after this, I would like to go through a few photos and focus a bit more on composition. Okay, we'll get on with the next. So, what do you think of this photo? What emotions does it evoke? What do you feel when you see this photo?
Elena wrote, Romina wrote, as if I am there, and Elena wrote, energy.
Yes.
Laura, it looks like the flowers are having a party. Valeria is writing, relaxing, infinite space.
Yeah. Well, I think the energy is mainly because of the color, the red and the yellow. But yes, it's almost an infinite space. What I did here, as you can see here, the rows of the tulips, you can see that the arrows, they bring your eye, they start in the front and they lead your eye to the background. So you start, you are pulled into the image. And
you call them guidelines,
leading
right?
lines.
Leading lines.
So, and this is one of the tricks that I always look for if I can find a leading line, I will include it in my photo if I can. So I put also the horizon very high in the photo, so we get a lot of accents. All the attention is on the foreground of the photo. If you do it the other way around, if you put the horizon very low in your photo, you will put more attention on the sky. But here it was all about the tulips. So I already came here in the afternoon when the light was not so good yet, but I just wanted to know what kind of composition I could use. So then I came back and well, this is, as you can imagine, in the Netherlands. And we were very lucky because we had an evening without wind, which in the Netherlands almost never happens. So I could even use a long exposure and the petals would still be still.
We have a question by Danilo here in the chat, which is about coaching. White is the sum of all colors, but often we prefer black and white. What relationship is there with the light and the emotions that are in our client in the coaching process? Yes, well, you will go to the black and white pictures and you will talk about them as well. And light is there as well. Emotions, they are part of the elements that allow us to know the client, to know the client and his or her system. So the emotions can be the way that the light is coming out. So the emotions, they are informations. Emotions are information about what is happening in the client. They are informations and they are messengers for us and for the client as well. So as you can see here, David is showing us the guiding lines, the leading lines, and we need to have some guidelines in order to be able to coach. The guidelines are the competencies, the markers, and the way we are in a coaching sessions. We put the client at the center. So client-centered mindset is the coaching mindset. And this is what the photographer, this is what David here did. He put the tulips in the center of the picture and he gave the tulips all the space. And yes, talking about emotions are like thoughts. They are elements that we can use in order to let the light of the client shine more, allow to shine.
Yeah, maybe you could see them as colors, different colors, and some emotions maybe there are also complementary colors. Yeah. Maybe some emotions are cooler and other emotions are warmer.
Idea. Okay.
Okay, so another photo. These are jacaranda trees in Johannesburg.
Joyful. You know this place?
I can actually see, I can relate. I've seen these in Rosebank. I don't know where this is though, but I've seen like a picture similar to this in Rosebank in Johannesburg.
Yeah.
And in Houghton.
Yeah.
Yes, well, Pretoria is famous for its jacaranda trees, but also in Johannesburg there are quite a few. So, and it's very beautiful. It's only a pity they clean the streets even very early in the morning. So I was hoping for the whole street to be purple. But it's well, it was a very nice, very early in the morning. I got up, well, I don't know, 4:30 or something to be here at sunrise. Well, even though these streets are very quiet because it's a very residential area, but at 5 in the morning there's nobody there, so I could place my tripod in the middle of the street without being afraid to get overrun by a car or something.
So once again, just to use the parallel for to coaching, you got up very early, you had the intention, you wanted to see something, you went to search for the street, you wanted the street to be covered with the purple carpet. That was your expectation. You didn't have it, but you took an amazing picture anyway because you waited for the right light. So in terms of creating your attitude, just present yourself in front of your client, knowing that you will see something special.
Wow. Yes, well, I had been here the day before because to search almost in the dark at 4 or 5 in the morning was a bit too risky, especially in a city that I didn't know. So, but still, yes, you go there prepared, and so you increase your chances of having success, of taking a good photo.
So also with curiosity in coaching, the more questions out of curiosity you put to your client, the more you increase your chances to get clues of the greatness of the client.
Yes, and as in photography, I think it's probably also a question of practice. I mean, you need to take a lot of photos, and not every photo needs to be a masterpiece. You can also take a wrong photo, but you'll get better at it once you go along.
You know, David, we still have 10 minutes.
Okay. Okay, so with this photo, well, you see the arcs of the trees that getting further away, so it creates like a tunnel, which creates a bit of depth. I also use the leading lines of the streets that take you to the end of the road. And here I put the horizon very low, because this was all about the trees and not about the road, of course. Okay, so
once again is to put the client in the center.
Yes, which in photography we very rarely put the subject right in the center.
Yeah, yeah.
So, well, this is Tuscany. As you can see, in spring it is really beautiful. Here, when I got here, it was full of photographers at sunrise, but here it's already half an hour after sunrise, and the sun just first disappeared between the clouds. So most of the other photographers, they just left. But I just sticked around for a little more, and then the sun burst through the skies and through the clouds and created this amazing light. So
even when everybody leaves, even when the client doesn't believe in himself or herself, if you stick around, you might see something special.
Yes. Yes, you never know. So here it's a very famous rule for photography. They call it a rule, but it's only a guideline. So it's not something that you should always do or is always valid, but it's called the rule of thirds. So you divide the frame in 9 equal parts, and then you put the main subject on one of the intersections. So which is here is the house, which is more or less on the dot, on the top left intersection, which it's pleasing to the eye. So, and it also gives quite some movement to this scene, which is mainly because the zigzag of the lines that goes from left to right, and I think it works. In the end, it works really well here.
So the message here is, well, we have the light, we have to position ourselves in order to get the greatness of this scenery with this light. So how we position ourselves into the coaching session, what I mean is what we look at, what our expectations are, what our biases, how our biases do not allow us to see the greatness, where our thoughts are guiding us instead of just witnessing the scenery at its best, the client at its best.
Okay. So this is this is in Sardinia, in one of the islands in Italy. This is a very long exposure. So you do it with a filter on a piece of black glass that you screw on your lens, and so you can take a very long exposure. So now, since the clouds were moving, you can now see the clouds. They become like streaks, and it also makes the sea turn like smoke or milk, which is, well, I didn't want the attention to be on the sea, so it gives it a bit more quiet feel to the sea. So as you can see here, I have put the horizon on 1/3 of the bottom. So this was more about the sky than about the sea or about the beach. And as you can see, here you have the leading lines, mainly by the clouds, that all point to the rock, which is called pan di zucchero, which is sugar bread, literally. Which is it's an enormous rock. It's more than 150 meters high from the sea. So this, in the end, it was a really nice sunset. So of course, the photos I showed you before, most of them were taken at sunrise or sunset. But of course, it doesn't mean you can't take photos in other parts of the day. So this was later on, after the sunset. There's still some color in the sky, but after the sunset, the light turns more blue, which I think in the end is still beautiful. So this is another photo I took in Tuscany. This was taken at the end of the afternoon, still a few hours from the sunset. But for this photo, I think it worked really well. With the blue and the green, they really look well together. It looks fresh. And well, as you can see, the little path between in the field is like a leading line to the cypress trees.
So sometimes even if you don't go for sunset or sunrise, you can get a great image, a great picture with good light out of the blue. I mean, like in an unexpected way. And that's what we need to look for in our clients. I mean, there's always greatness in what we look at. So we need to search, we need to wait. We need to change perspective.
So, this is I think a funny photo of a weaver. They well, with animals, like with people, one thing you should take care about is that the eyes are in focus, which here, fortunately, is the case. Well, these birds are very funny. The male makes the nest, and then the female judges if he was good enough. So if she approves it, then she will lay an egg. If she doesn't, like in this case, she will take it apart. She will destroy the nest, and the male will have to start all over again. So you can see all the pieces of grass flying around. So this, well, more work for the partner. But here I took many photos because they move so quickly. It's very difficult to get well, to get a photo you like in the end. So it's better to take many and then select a few afterwards.
So again, the message here is try and keep on trying, keep on asking, and keep on, you know, being intentional until you get what you are needing to see.
So this is a warthog. What I like here is that the colors are almost all the same. It's all yellow and red. So, but he had a nice mud bath, and so it's in the end it's quite a simple photo, but it still looks nice.
So David, we have 3 minutes. Maybe you can go to some of the exercises at the end, and maybe we can meet again another time to carry on with what's left that we couldn't cover.
Okay, so what do you do if you don't like the light that you are seeing? I often then turn to black and white. This was a rainy day, so there was no nice light. So in the end, I transformed this photo in black and white, which, well, often cloudy days, the shapes come out very well. So, and the colors are sometimes more saturated on a rainy day than on a sunny day.
So the message here is that you need to do with what you have. You need to do with what you have in that moment with the client, and there's always beauty to see and to let it come out somehow.
Yeah, there's no bad light for a photographer, they say. So it's.
Danilo, you have some amazing question. How can we recognize the light in a person when it is dark? You mean when it is dark in the person, or when it is dark outside?
In the person.
Yes. Well, you know, it is. We see the darkness. We can see the light. It is like, it is about what we see. And it is about how do we want to buy the belief of the client so much that we don't see the light. But if we come to the place where, you know, no matter what, I stay there, I sit there, even 3 days, even 3 months, and the light is gonna come out. I know that for sure, because this is life. Then how can we see the light when the person is dark? I would say patience, I would say intention, I would say persistence, I would say be passionate about your work and the client. I would say trust, I would say faith, and I would say that there is no light without darkness, actually, because these are the two opposites of one whole thing. That's my answer.
Be patient. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, so well, this is a photo in the mist. The mist creates a very soft atmosphere. For me, it creates a sense of calm. So it creates depth, because it's well, the further you get, the less you can see. So the objects in the foreground, they come out a little bit better than the one on the background.
David, Joyful asks, does it ever happen that there is no right light in photography? And does it ever happen that you don't see the light in a client, or you have to find it, change the angle, perspective, wait, be patient?
Well, sometimes you are hoping for some type of light, which doesn't happen, which doesn't mean that the light you are going to get is wrong. It's just it's not what you expected. So you always have to work with the light you get. If you want different lights, then you will have to come back another day and hope for better light, or another hour of the day. But in this place, this is in Tuscany. I've been there now many times, and I take different photos of the same subjects every time, mainly because the weather is different. So it's always different, and I think that's also the beauty of photography, that you can come back to the same places and you will always come back with different photos. So there's not really wrong light, but maybe it's not the light that you were hoping for.
And that's the point. I mean, we need to pay attention to what we are hoping that the client is, to what we are hoping that the client become, because the light is always there. Maybe it's a very small light, but it's a big one for the client. Maybe it's a very pale light, but it's very shiny for the client. So we need to detach from our expectation to find something, and the light is going to be always there.
Mm-hmm. So
what is it?
Elephant.
Exactly, the tail of an elephant. So, well, the black and white makes it takes away the color, so it's not, the color is not distracting anymore, and it brings out the texture of the skin. And the elephant skin is amazing. There is really a lot of structure in it, and it's really beautiful. So, but it's a funny photo. So, well, movement, yes, this is energy for me. Well, this in color, the light wasn't amazing, and the background was all green and brown, which I think didn't work. The horses in the Camargue in France, they are all white, and I wanted the white to stand out. So I thought that in black and white with a dark background, they would come out better. And with all the splashes while they're galloping through the marshes, I think it looks really nice. So for those who want to practice a bit with photography, I have 2 exercises.
And actually, they're not just exercises for photographers, because we're going to find out that they will be applicable to all our coaching practice.
So, well, as we have seen, the light changes throughout the day. So I would like to invite you to take photos of the same subject, of the same place, in several, or also on different days, during several times of the days, or at with different weather, and see how the light affects the photo, and see which you would like better. So then you really can appreciate what light does to a photo.
And you can take it with your phone, and you can just take it from the balcony of your house, wherever you are. I mean, it doesn't. You don't have to go to Tuscany or to South Africa to take pictures.
No, you can, but
you can. If you want to join us, you can. But no, the point is, you can do that with a phone wherever you are.
No, phones take better and better photos nowadays, so you don't need a fancy camera. So another thing is to take photos of a subject from different angles. And also this, you will see how this really changes your photo. It really has a big effect. And I would advise you to take care of your background. Every photo has a background. So if you walk around something, take care of your background. The background should be a complement to your photo. It should not be a distraction to what you are taking a photo of. Okay, and a second exercise is to go to a place where you think you can take a photo that you will like. And once you have taken that photo, just stay still and take at least another 5 photos without you moving. You can turn around, but don't walk around too much. So you take 5 different photos of the same spot, and you like I did here. If you see the photo of the tree with the cloud, then I took another photo just of the tree. Then I got down and I took a photo of the wheat, and I got down even further and I took a close-up of just one piece of wheat. So it will allow you to think more about what you are doing. So that there are probably a lot more photos in a place than you would first think about. And this might also help you with coaching. Maybe the first question you ask is maybe not the right one, or maybe it is the right one, but from one question follows another. So you will be more conscious of what you're doing, and you will allow the inspiration to come to you and not to think too much about it.
This applies very well in the coaching agreement. Spend time in the coaching agreement. Stay on the same place. Don't walk around to other competencies, but offer 4 or 5 or 6 questions that are moving around the agreement. So you can apply everything we have said today. You can find your own way to apply them. The previous exercise is move from different perspectives. Wait different times of the day. Wait different times in the coaching session. Not to put the same question, but maybe to touch from different angles what the client is bringing. And here the exercise is stay in the same place, but you know that you can see lots of different things from the same place. The last thing is, yes, David, relax, look around.
Yeah.
Try and see the most that you can see.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your attention. I'm sorry I crossed the time, but
you can stop sharing now the slides, David,
okay.
And we can just say goodbye, because yes, we have gone through an hour, a bit more than an hour, but thank you for being here with us, and thank you, David, for sharing these pictures and these hints and knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. It's fun sharing it. So
you're all quiet. It has been relaxing to see all these landscapes.
Thank you. That was really interesting. Seeing those beautiful pictures and how it relates to coaching, it really brings a different angle at how I now look at coaching. It was really beautiful. There's something that I'm learning from that.
Thank you so much. Yes, I hope you can relate. We will share the slides. Try to imagine how everything that David shared about photography and light can be applied and expanded, because every time that David talks about photography or anybody talks about photography, there's the idea of what do I see in a client? how can I enhance the greatness? Not what I see, but what is coming up. And my task is just to be there to, make the best out of what is it, and be patient on coming back in the same place. Elena, you know how Tuscany beautiful is. So, but you're lucky you live there. And South Africa and the rest of the world. So thank you very much. We ran out of time. I will.
This is our Sunlight Academy. If you want to become a certified life coach and find out more about our accredited coaching education, be part of our global community and learn about our programs, you can visit our website, sunlight.academy, and get in touch with us. We are more than happy to meet you.